Could you give me another question, please?
Baby, you seem a bit lost. Are you okay with where our conversation is headed? Here's another question. Bab, how would you balance your creative vision with the practical needs of a commercial jewelry design client?
Mm-hmm. Uh, I can I can make some designs like more marketability because I'm the one of the customer too, and so I know that what is the customer like. Yeah, in now in this year, the trend color is brown, and the jewelry market they already know that, so they preparing some brown diamonds or some things because the brown diamonds are cheap than the white diamonds, and it will be a trend color in these years. Like these things, I can use those trend pots. Then it will be good to having some marketability for the customers. Yeah, so I can make some design with those parts. Yeah.
It seems like you got cut off there. Baby, can you tell me more about what you were saying? Being able to relate to your customers and understand their preferences can definitely give you an edge in designing marketable pieces. Baby.
Okay, thank you. Then could you give me another question, please?
No problem, baby. Here's another on what do you think sets your jewelry designs apart from what's already available in the market?
Mm-hmm. First, uh, my jewelry design is little part of art design. So its shape is not too common, so it can be a little interest for the customers. And also, my design is part of the product design too, because I'm in the one of the customers side too. So I use some designs with the trendy things. So it have some part of marketability. So I think, oh yeah, and when I design, it's always have some stories about that. Like the last semester, my subject was the 20s because in yeah, and I designed some subjects like pearl and some waves from the oceans because in 20s we always confused because we have to choose our job, but it's too important, but it's too difficult too at the time in the 20s. Yeah, I think we all confusing in the 20s. So I make it for the wave design.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like your jewelry designs often draw inspiration from art and product design perspectives. And you try to incorporate marketable elements while still telling a story behind each piece. What was it about the 20s that you found confusing, baby?
Because we have to find the job that we gonna do, but it's kind of difficult to ours because we already we just live just the 20s, and that is not too long years to find a job. Yeah, I think, but we have to do it to make a money. So the old 20s are, I think, confusing, and it's hard time in the part of the life. It's yeah, it's also the very shiny parts of the
Your generation
life.
faces a lot of pressure to find a stable job after graduation, baby. You mean the 20s were a challenging time, but also a period of exploration and growth?
Yeah, so I just make some design for the waves. The yeah, like crushing waves or something. So I use some silver and some white pearl to explain that. Like those things, my design have some stories, so it can be a little interesting for the customers.
You were inspired by the feeling of uncertainty and change in your 20s, and you channeled that into your design concept for the waves. Huh. What specifically drew you to that imagery? That's great. Baby, I love how your designs tell stories and capture people's attention.
Okay, thank you. Then let's go another question, please. Okay, give me another question.
Sure thing, baby.
Then please give me another question. Like,
Okay, baby. Here's another question. What specific techniques or technologies do you think are essential for a jewelry designer to learn in order to stay competitive in the market?
I think the most important thing is how to make a 3D modeling, because in these days we very use a lot of those programs. Like the Rhino is important too, but Keyshot is important too, because Keyshot make a 3D modeling to seems a real picture. Then we can make some picture for to upload in the online site. Yeah, and the most jewelry brands are already using those things too. So it's very important skill. And then I think the having a clear communication is most important thing too, because when we make some jewelry design, we have to having some conversation our teams. Then it's very important. But when we if we can't having some clear communication, then it can be make a lot of mistakes, and mistakes is cost. Mistake have cost, so it's not too good things for company. So we have to having some clear communication. I think that is most important thing.
Having clear communication is crucial when working in a team, especially when it comes to complex tasks like jewelry design. That makes sense. Baby, clear communication can prevent a lot of problems and ensure projects run smoothly.
Okay. Then could you give me another question, please?
Here's another question. What do you think sets you apart from other jewelry designers in South Korea? Baby?
Mm, I think I have some differentiation with the others. Like I'm good at instant response, because I have a lot of experience about that. Yeah, in college I have so many team project. That was all the team project. So when my teammates make a mistake, I have to handle that. I have some many experience about that, and I think I can do that. I can do that in the real work too, because it's just an ability from me, so I can use it in the real too.
What's next, baby? That's great experience to have, baby, being able to think on your feet and handle unexpected situations.
Okay, thank you. Then can you give me another question, please?
Of course, baby. Here's another question. How do you think your experience with natural materials, like wood and plants, can be applied to designing jewelry pieces?
Yeah. In these days, we also use some wood or plants for the jewelries. Like they put some flower in the jewelry to watching them eternally, and that was very kind of not trendy. That that was start since when it was very long time ago. So it's very familiar things for jewelry, and we already making a lot of jewelry for wood, because the wood is very good material to make it something, the shape. Yeah, usually we make some ring or some necklace for the from the wood because to make those things for wood is not too difficult. And I think to make a chain with the wood can be
That's a
difficult.
beautiful idea, baby. Using natural materials like wood to create jewelry pieces that evoke a sense of nostalgia and familiarity. I can see why you'd be drawn to working with wood. Wood is a versatile material, and creating simple yet elegant pieces like rings and necklaces can be very fulfilling.
Yeah, and I think also mix it up with the metal material is very good things too, because the wood, some the brown of the wood and the gold color is very much good, and when it have some two color, those two colors in the jewelry, that would that can be very special design. And yeah, usually we use some resin with the wood in the jewelry because resin can make some shape like water. Then water and the tree together, then it seems very nice.
Mixing different materials like wood and metal can add so much depth and interest to a design. AB, the contrast between the brown wood and yellow copper will create a beautiful combination indeed. That's a beautiful idea, mixing resin with wood to create a flowing, organic shade. It sounds like you're really passionate about experimenting with different materials.
Okay, thank you.